we're back! Hi, I'm Pete. We're about to hop into our first adventure of the evening, which is going to be titled The Windenburg. Uh, it might be what you think it is. But before we hop into that adventure, we are going to introduce our characters. We have a brand new party, entirely first level, brand new characters here in the Lens of D&D Time, and I'm very excited to meet all of them. So without further ado, first we have Mugg the Kobold joining us.
Oh, hi. Yeah, I'm Mugg the Kobold. That's just my name. Please don't actually mug me.
Yes. So Mugg the Kobold, there's something kind of strange I'm noticing here, which is your name is Mugg the Kobold, but you appear to be a Drow.
That's what they all. I'm used to it by now.
I'm sorry if I've brought up something of a painful memory or something that's frustrating for you, but if you don't mind me asking, well, for starters, welcome to the Lens of D&D Time. Would you like to tell me a little bit about yourself, Mugg?
I don't have much to tell. I work with a few of my friends, the other kobolds, and I found a really cool bow once, and I thought maybe I could get a little bit more money working for Bartholomew. This is my first time. Should I have more like feats under my belt before coming here?
Many adventurers in the Lands of D&D Time are relatively unknown and have accomplished barely no feats before adventuring, so I think you'll be in good company, Mugg. I'm sure that you'll accomplish great things as a member of Bartholomew's adventuring troupe.
Thanks. You can be sure of it.
Very well. Welcome, Mugg. I'm glad that you're joining us tonight. Next, we have another brand new character, as all are tonight. We have a Star in the Morning with us, which, if I'm not mistaken, you prefer to just be called Star.
Just Star, please.
Yeah, absolutely, Star. Welcome to the Lands of D&D Time. As another first-time adventurer here, would you like to tell me a little bit about yourself, Star?
I am a monk specializing in dreams, per se.
Yes, a dreamwalker, as they are often known. Star, what brings you to the Lands of D&D Time? What made you want to kind of adventure and take up with Bartholomew's adventuring troupe?
I have discovered something that must be defeated, and I'm currently not strong enough to defeat it.
What is this? What is this threat? Is this something that you can share with us?
I'm afraid I cannot say as of yet.
I understand. I know such information can be very dangerous if into the wrong hand, but hopefully someday we are able to learn. Star, you mentioned that you are a monk of dreams. Your expertise is sleep important to you, and dreams particularly important to you. Beyond it's just from where you draw your powers. Are you a big napper?
Not particularly. I was born into a monastery that specialized in dream walking and such, and I kind of just took that in, and it's what I have become.
Well, Star, as a dreamwalker, I'm sure you'll fit in very nicely into Bartholomew's adventuring troupe, and I welcome you today.
Thank you.
Next, we have Elaria Shadepaw with us tonight. Good evening, Elaria.
Oh, yes. Hello.
Did I say your name right for starters,
Yes,
Elaria?
you did.
Excellent. So, Elaria, would you care to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I serve Spectronus, and particularly, he who guards the Rainbow Bridge.
You say, was the name that you said Spectronus?
Yes.
Could you tell me, this is your god, I assume, as you are a
Yes.
cleric. Could you tell me a little bit about Spectronus? It's a god I personally am not familiar with.
Well, particularly, I serve him as he guards the Rainbow Bridge between, well, this life and the next.
Ah, yes. So is your domain one of life, or is your domain one of death?
One of the grave.
Yes. And these skills, you are obviously you wield the magic of your god if you are a cleric. is there a particular reason why you took up with Bartholomew's adventuring troupe?
It was a way that I could use my skills to help more people than I could staying put in one place.
Absolutely. That makes perfect sense. I know that members of this troupe travel the worldwide or sent all over the place. So you'll certainly have the opportunity to help and to spread the word of Spectronus. Did I say that again right?
Yes.
Excellent. Well, Elaria, welcome to you as well.
Thank you.
And last, but of course not least, we have Wilhelm Spearshaker with us as well. Welcome, Wilhelm.
Hello.
Wilhelm, what's your story? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
You see, I am part of a group of dragonborn, dragons as well, that call themselves the librarians. They oversee the libraries here in
Interesting. Now, Wilhelm, one thing that strikes me is you are a kobold. Am I not mistaken?
That is correct, yes.
Yes. But you are most of the other members of your order are dragonborn.
Indeed, that is correct, yes. But we also have kobolds as well. Typically the kobolds are the ones that are the lower of the ladder, and there's an upper echelon of the librarian.
So there's sort of a class system amongst the members of your order.
Yes, you see the highest of the classes get the most secure and secretive of the information, while the lowest of the classes don't.
Have you ever had the opportunity to? I know that there are, of course, libraries throughout the lands of D&D time. Have you ever had the opportunity to visit the library in Sokotoa?
No, but I want to.
Yes, that's I know a very glorious one. So hopefully someday amongst your adventures you have the opportunity. But Wilhelm, why did you join Bartholomew's adventuring troupe?
You see, the librarians have a pure entry, a proper entry. To be entered into the next level, one must go out and make their own adventure, their own story, and bring it back and bring back any other information that might need to be secreted away and kept away out of the hands of evil.
So this is your way, Wilhelm, if I'm not mistaken, of just creating your story.
Yes.
Very good. Well, Wilhelm, I'm sure your tales today maybe start off a little bit more boring than you would have liked. For our adventure begins, the four of you have been sent by Bartholomew aboard an airship, which was pretty exciting when you first heard about it. It's a brand new airship called the Windenburg. And it is the largest zeppelin that has ever been made and ever to fly over the lands of DnDTime. It uses incredible, latest and most cutting edge of trigonometric mechanics, huge kind of like propellers and things holding up this massive balloon. It's part hot air, part mechanical contraption. It is a sight to behold as you're approaching. But as you arrived, you found that your actual task on the Windenburg was to guard luggage for some of the wealthier guests that were kind of here attending and going on this great airship's maiden voyage. And you have spent most of your adventure thus far just kind of sitting in a back room and occasionally like taking a bag for someone that shows up. So it has not been the most illustrious beginning to some of your adventuring work here. At where we begin officially, the trip that you're on is flying between Central City and Sokotoa. You left from Sokotoa and are en route to where they've set up a landing pad for it in Central City. And you've been traveling for a few hours now, and at the current rate of travel, which is very fast, you expect to arrive at Central City in roughly an hour. And then your job will be done. You'll have finished your kind of entry-level guard duty here, and you'll be good to go. And so, where we begin, the four of you are just kind of sitting around in the luggage room, just sort of twiddling your thumbs. What precisely are all of you been doing? How have you been kind of like passing the time as you've just been waiting for basically the plane ride to end?
I am writing a story. This is the most illustrious beginning. I am aboard an airship going.
Yes, very good. Over in the corner, you can see that your ally Wilhelm is just scribbling is very quickly into a tome. Um, we what are the rest of you up to? Is you're just kind of hanging out?
You write so loudly.
I am sorry. I cannot help it. Helps me to visualize what I am writing.
Of course.
Playing his jam in another corner will. If you don't want anything loud, should I stop playing?
No, you're fine. It's the constant scratching. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Great.
And what about Star in the morning? What are you up to, Star?
I am meditating or doing yoga.
It's been kind of a mix between the two. I imagine when things started and you were a little bit antsier, it was yoga, but now it's just become kind of like a calm silence. And an interruption happens. It's happened a few times now, where you're just kind of, you're just resting in this back room. There's not any view in this room. You can't really see the beautiful landscapes passing by, but you do hear a knock upon the door. And shortly thereafter enters in a noble. He's wearing kind of a bowler, and he approaches and says, "Good afternoon, all of you. If one of you don't mind, if you could fetch my suitcase, I just need to grab something from it, and then I'm going to put it right back. I believe I gave it to you when I first arrived." And he just points. It's just over in the corner, but he just doesn't want to walk across the room and get it.
Coming right up. Do you have your baggage claim ticket?
Yes, of course I have. I mean, we spoke earlier. I don't know why I would need such a thing, but I have it. And he pulls out of his pocket his baggage claim ticket, hands it over to you, Mugg. Do you fetch the case for him?
I run over and try to grab the case as best as I kind of half carrying, half, drag in one corner, as I assume it's somewhat heavy.
A little bit, yeah. He's bringing a good amount of luggage with him, and he goes over and he rifles through it for some time, and he produces from it a very elaborate wooden carved pipe and some pipe weed as well, which he kind of takes out and begins kind of lighting up and puffing. Is very good, boy. Go ahead and put that right back, and well, I'll be off. Awful lot of money to hire Bartholomew's adventurers for. I mean, what, just to guard baggage? It seems a bit in excess, but I suppose that's why we pay so much for this voyage.
Windenburg, they spare no expense, sir.
He kind of nods and turns around and steps back out and just goes to leisurely kind of smoke his pipe outside in the maybe the more pleasant air, and things just kind of fall peaceful again for a time. Anything that you guys want to do? Is you just kind of hanging, or is you just kind of continue business as usual?
Star gets back to meditating.
All right, yeah, you just can kind of continue to meditate, and yeah, time kind of passes for a while, until as you guys have maybe another 10 minutes go by, you begin to hear very loud alarms coming from somewhere within the Zeppelin.
Oh no. We should maybe fix this, right?
But won't we have to leave the baggage?
To defend the bag?
We don't have to take the bag. We don't have to leave the baggage. We can carry it with us.
There's a lot of baggage. You say that, and then you kind of look back, and there's maybe like 40 or 50 passengers on this first maiden voyage, and the bags are just stacked up against the wall.
Will you?
There's a cart.
When you were younger.
We can put it on the cart and go bring it with us. How's that?
But if anyone needs their luggage, they'll come here for it, not wherever we take it.
We'll leave a note. Went to go investigate the loud beeping. Be back in 5 minutes. That'll.
We don't all need to go. We could just have one of us run up and see what's going on.
Okay, fine. One of you could go run up and see what's going on.
All right. And who does that?
Nobody else wants to do it? I can, I guess.
Wants to do what exactly?
Go and see what's going on.
Do you?
I shall go with
do you
you.
not hear the alarm?
Yeah, Star, you're just kind of picking up on it. You've been so deep in meditation, Star, that up till now it hadn't even registered. But now, yeah, there's just a terrible klaxon that's going off somewhere within the inside of this.
All right, let's go.
All right, so it sounds like Wilhelm and Star are both heading out?
Absolutely, yes. Also,
right.
Star, here you go. Just, maybe... Wow!
You give a bardic inspiration dice to Star, which you can use later for an ability check, an attack roll, or saving throw, and add it to that roll within the next 10 minutes. So you begin kind of stepping out into the corridor. You walked through here briefly when you first arrived, but now you can see this particular corridor is towards the outside of the Zeppelin, the not specifically the balloon, so to speak, but the kind of section of it that hangs from below where everyone is, the actual quarters on it. And from outside the window, you can see that you are nearing Central City, but the first thing that strikes both of you, what are your, actually not even, doesn't really matter what your passive perception is, you would both see this. One thing that strikes you is you can see a pretty heavy trail of smoke that's zipping kind of past and into the wind that seems to be coming from somewhere relatively high up on the balloon part of this Zeppelin.
Looks like smoke and fire.
At the moment, you're not seeing the fire, but I mean, it's a fair, deduction. But yeah, also down the corridor, you've been hearing people kind of hustle past frequently, and just guests and passengers that have been walking by. But now that you think about it, it had been maybe 10, 15 minutes since you'd heard anybody. Up until this point. It's actually been kind of silent for a while until these alarms started going off. And those, I turned the sound off so you wouldn't have to listen to them the whole time. But those continue to just kind of blare in the background behind you. You look down the hallway and up ahead, is where some of the main passenger sections of this blimp are. They have, food and a little bit of a dining area, and then sleeping quarters for anyone who wants to nap and stuff. And you can see that ahead. Behind you and up is what appears to be, from what you originally gathered when you walked in, that seems to be things like engineering and a way to get up into the main mechanics of this Zeppelin.
Where the fire is, presumably.
Yeah, it's behind. The fire is in front of you, and that direction would be behind you that it leads to, but it would lead up into the upper part. So yeah. But that's what you see as you come out. The hallway
There's
is
a
the
fire.
Yes, we should fix that. I think that we are adventurers, and this is an adventure, and fire is something that we could probably.
Should we go back and get the others? Depending on how big the fire is, I doubt two of us pouring buckets of water on it could, fix it.
True. So we should probably go up and get the others. I'll go back and get the others, and you climb up and see what you can do.
All right.
Very well. You go back in. What do you tell everyone as you pop back in?
I just yell really loudly, "Fire! We need help."
Elaria,
Suppose.
As you get back to the luggage room, you see that Mugg has arranged some of the luggage to make a small fort in case something actually was the.
Muggs, you're just kind of like ducked behind, the luggage equivalent of a blanket fort.
There is fire. We need help.
Fire! Help!
What does Star see?
So you're going to kind of proceed ahead and go into sort of the maintenance area of the ship. You climb up, and you have to climb up a little bit of a ladder. There's one of those circular-handled hatches, the ones that you have to spin. You know the ones I'm talking about?
Not necessarily.
It's kind of a vertical hatch. When you get to the top of the ladder, you have to turn a wheel in order to unlock it and push it open above you. And it opens up into a very kind of large chamber here. And you are able to see here the rigging on the inside of this absolutely massive zeppelin. And you are able to see what appears to be the source of the fire. And what it looks like, there's a section around the top where it's starting to burn and spread outwards. The new canvas that the Windenburg is kind of made from is being kind of consumed by flames up towards the top. It's thick, but you can see a couple of spots where, as massive as this balloon is, it's starting to burn through, and you can just see open sky. You know that air isn't the only thing that makes the Windenburg go. There's like propellers and things that kind of push it forward and help it alter direction and give it a little bit of extra float. But it is a large portion of it. You kind of look up, and so that's what you see. Go ahead and make your perception check.
Okay,
Remember,
perception.
you do have Arctic great.
You roll over to this. Oh, I forgot to end. Let me see. Perception.
23. All right. So, in addition to what you saw there, you can also catch running along. There's intricate hatchings and cross beams and support systems that keep the inside of this space, what it is. It's very warm in here. And as you look across, you can actually see a couple of figures making their way along these beams. One of them has a torch and is running over towards the outside of the canvas at another point. Currently, they're pretty far away from you.
Do I see what caused the fire?
You do not see... I mean, you see someone running with a torch on the inside of it, for what that's worth.
Oh.
But you don't necessarily see, you don't see any equipment or materials that appear to be, smoking any of the mechanisms in here. There's not a lot of moving parts in this space, but there is a huge kind of kiln that seems to be pumping some hot air into this space, and that forge appears to be working normally. And you can see that there are some engineers that, as you look over into that space, that are currently they're just leaning against the forge, which seems like a weirdly a strange thing for them to be doing during an emergency. So that's what you see as you take it in, and that's a couple of moments of looking around. And I think by this point, Mugg, Star, and Elaria, you all have caught up. Or were you planning on heading up this way?
Absolutely. I know I am. I don't know what everyone else is doing.
I don't know what's going on, so I'll just follow for now.
Wait,
Elaria?
so the only cause of fire in here is the guy with the torch?
That's what you see right now. And the rest of you kind of catch up, and you are able to see the same thing. And again, just to once again reiterate the scale of this thing, this inside of this zeppelin is hundreds of feet long, and you can see these figures far off in the distance. They're just kind of like silhouettes. It's also fairly dark in here, so you're just kind of seeing them silhouetted against the bright light sun, hitting the canvas. So you're just seeing kind of shadows moving in the distance.
How far away is the one with the torch?
Above you, up on like the cross rigging and beams, maybe 60 feet up and 150 feet away. You guys are towards the middle of the inside of this thing right now, and he's closer to the front.
There's someone with a torch. Mugg is just gonna make a blind shot at, or not a blind shot, the guy has a torch, but you know, a shot at him.
Take a blast. All right, sure. $11. The arrow flies pretty far away. Actually, you're just barely within the short range. Nice. The arrow flies through the air, but strikes at the crossbeam right around this person's foot. And you see for a moment, they kind of were walking purposefully along this girder, but as soon as they strike, they kind of pause for a moment, look in your direction, and after kind of being stunned for a moment, you see them start running along the crossbeam, up over towards the outside, where they take the torch and light another spot on the outside of this zeppelin, and you can see it begin to spread. The first one at this point has spread even further and is starting to take the entire inside of this balloon up in flames.
What are we doing?
Crap.
Less than ideal.
Water.
I will yell at the people, because I'm assuming my party member told me about the people that are...
you got a chance to take in the space as you arrived.
I will yell, "What are you doing? There's a person lighting the place on fire. Aren't you going to help?"
You, go ahead and make me a perception check.
Okay. Perception or persuasion?
Perception.
Yeah.
Take some guidance, too.
I gave it as well? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and hang on, guys, sure. D4. Go ahead and roll that. 20. You look over at the people, and you spend some time as you're calling out to them and asking them what they're doing, because it's definitely strange that these engineers aren't working to do the one thing that they do, which is repair the inside of this thing. If anything goes wrong, handling the maintenance. They're kind of like moving and struggling and squinting in the dark, kind of on the inside of this zeppelin, and kind of making out, again, just it's all silhouettes in here. You think they actually might be tied up.
Ooh, okay. How far are they from me?
They are down. You guys, like I said, you're kind of coming in towards the middle, but you're on the same kind of bottom floor as they are. They are maybe 100 feet away towards the front. There's another one of these furnaces that's at the back, but you don't see any engineers currently at it.
Dash towards their direction.
All right. You begin kind of taking off and running. What do the rest of you do?
What? So I know they're kind of up and along the length of the balloon. What's the nearest best way to get closer?
There are ladders and access points to get up onto the rigging at pretty regular intervals. The nearest one being about 20 feet away. You could get up there and then just run along the girders and kind of cross beams the same way that person is.
Yeah, they don't seem the most trustworthy. I think I'm going to do that.
All right. What is your next move? I'm sorry.
So wait,
Elaria's doing that.
And how far roughly are they?
Currently, when they just lit the front of the Windenburg, it was about 150 feet down.
Yeah, I'm going to dash really, really fast and get like 30 feet away.
How far can you run to turn? Oh yeah, you're a Tabaxi. How far can you run?
30 double move speed and then dash is 120 feet.
120 feet in one round. I would like you in that case, and I think everybody at that point, roll for initiative, but Mugg and Star, both of you can tell me what you want to do as well.
Is there any way to climb the rigging? Like, I'm trying to get up onto the level with the
there are
torch
ladders, so that's what Elaria is doing as well. So you can just take a ladder up. They are at intermittent, there are intervals.
Okay, I will do that.
Okay. And what about you, Mugg? What's your play?
I'll just run 30 feet forward after the guy with the torch and make another arrow fly to try to...
Okay, go ahead and make me another attack roll. 22, that is going to hit. Go ahead and roll me damage on that. 11 points of piercing damage. You can see, you pull back, Mugg, and stretch the bow to its limits, and the arrow kind of flies through the air, and you can see that person has just finished lighting that section of the inside of this zeppelin, and as soon as this arrow kind of connects, you hear a distant. There's a slight delay in the reaction, like it's far enough away where you just hear the arrow hits, and then a couple seconds later you hear like a and they fall and kind of collapse off of the girders below. Those of you who are up there can actually see that there's a couple more of these figures that are milling about and moving in this area, and we are going to go ahead and roll initiative for them as well.
Oh, I need to roll initiative. Give me a second.
In that case, the first to act in this instance is going to be actually somewhere where you are. Wilhelm. Wilhelm, you begin rushing over towards those engineers, and as you get closer to them, yeah, your suspicions were right. It was tough to see at a distance, but with your dark vision, once you're in range of that, you can see, yeah, these two people are tied up here. It looks like there's actually a third one that's kind of squirming around on the ground, also tied, and you can see kind of standing over them what appears to be a dwarf that's guarding them. They're looking in all directions right now, kind of taking in these new combatants that have moved into the space, but they're standing in what appears to be, it looks like almost, for lack of a better word, I'm going to call it a mech suit, but it's not that elaborate. It's just like armor with some mechanics on it, closer to like a steampunk Iron Man than a full-on like Gundam, but they're wearing this oversuit of metal, and they kind of watch you, and you can see them kind of standing in the cockpit, and it has a massive hammer in its hand, and they begin seeing you approaching and running towards you.
Fantastic.
They are going to run up to you. With the distance that you would have covered, they are unable to get in range and attack in one turn, but they dash up to you as you begin approaching, and this, what you now see as a dwarf that seems to be piloting it on the inside, looks down at you and kind of grins a little bit as they're getting ready to bring their hammer down upon you. And that's all for that foe's turn. That's going to bring us next to... It is Star. What would you like to do, Star?
So am I on the ladder or am I on the next level?
You are on the next level. You climb up the ladder and you're running along the next level. One of them has just been brought down, but now that you're up here, you can see that there are a few more that have also climbed up here from the other side. You could... the closest one is maybe about 50 feet away from you, and all said and done, there are four of these kind of what you can now tell are dwarves that are climbing around on the lattice here.
Let me see. So I am going to, I'm going to use my feline agility to gain a burst of speed. So I'll be able to move 60 feet and go to the closest one.
Okay.
And then I will use my bow staff to attack it.
Yeah, go ahead and make me an attack roll.
Yeah, and I'm gonna do it one-handed because the martial arts I can do an unarmed attack as well if I do that.
You can do it two-handed and have the martial art be a kick.
Yep, he's right about that.
Wait, do what?
For future
Double
reference,
hand
you can
smack
do
and then
the
kick.
unarmed strike even if you use it two-handed.
Oh, really?
Yep. But go ahead and roll me damage on that. 7 points of bludgeoning damage, and then go ahead and make that unarmed strike. The 8, unfortunately, is going to miss. You bring the quarterstaff down. It smacks him on top of the head. The dwarf, kind of groans a little bit and looks up at you, anger in his eyes. The second unarmed strike, he throws an arm kind of into yours, blocking the strike before it hits you, as he glares at you pretty angrily. And as you kind of lean into him, he looks over at you. You can see he just has, he's a dwarf. He has tattoos of clouds throughout his, just all throughout his head and face. You can see his beard has like a clamp that ties it that's also a cloud. And as he looks at you and he goes, "Wasn't expecting there to be any other combatants on this ship. Told they were all prissy noble types." That's going to bring us to... it was Elaria next. What would you like to do, Elaria?
And, well, I don't really like that one. And, well, I'm going to pull out a crossbow, and that one who just insulted us, prissy noble types, will shortly be meeting a bolt.
12 is unfortunately going to miss. You see it glances off of the armor that this dwarf is wearing. Is there anything
You
else?
have a
on your
problem
turn?
with us prissy noble types? Well then, come find out what we can do.
A couple more of them begin walking up.
And I'm going to move away from the ones who are walking closer. Back towards the rest of my party.
Okay, and you, as you kind of take things, you're staying on the upper level, I assume, right?
Yes.
Okay, you take a few steps back and kind of gain a little bit of range, and this one dwarven woman kind of calls out to you as she's now sprinting towards you. "No problem if they can fight." And that's going to bring us next to... Mugg, I believe.
Uh-huh. I will step back a bit so that the ones coming towards the Tabaxi are at the edge of my range. How big and nasty did the dwarven hammer guy look in the mech suit that's not a mech?
Not... I mean, you look tough. It's got a mech suit. You know what the best comparison is? Kind of like a smaller version. Did you ever see the movie Avatar? James Cameron's Avatar?
Oh, I gotcha.
Kind of like the things that the people in that movie walk around in, but smaller. So I really wanted to define that thing. He... it's tough to say, like, how nasty does he look? The dwarf looks a lot like the other dwarves in terms of toughness, and it looks like some pretty heavy steel and iron that this thing is made out of. It's the best I think you could get just from a look.
Don't worry, Wilhelm. I'll back you up here. And I will have that as my vow to back Wilhelm up against the dwarven MacLeod and make a shot against him.
Go ahead and make an attack roll. Oh, you have an oath bow. It's so crazy.
What? It's just a really cool bow I found.
Fire away. Oh wait, it didn't come up. Okay, I couldn't see it for some reason. That is absolutely going to hit at a 17 for... Wait, does it do both of those? Oh my god. Oathbow is a good weapon. 25 points of piercing damage. You
Wait,
watch it...
what?
He has a very good
27.
weapon. I'm sorry, 27 points of piercing damage. It's a very good weapon. You pull back and you strike into the steel of this, outer armor, this exo armor that they're wearing, and you see it kind of like strikes into some of the joints, and you see it like is already like shaking and rattling a little bit, and having a hard time moving about. Level 1 character with an oath bow, and it's not finished in one hit, but it looks like you did significant damage of it, and you can see he's already having like trouble using the right arm of the machine. Anything else on your turn?
That'll do it.
That's going to bring us to Wilhelm. What would you like to do, Wilhelm?
Mm-hmm. I will say to this elf, you said this dwarf that started me. Away, you starveling, you elf skin, you dried neat's tongue, you bull pizzle, you stock.
He looks at you kind of confused, and makes a wisdom save. I suspected there was a spell behind that. He is going to absolutely fail, and then he uses his reaction to run away, right?
Yeah, he runs away.
He takes 9 points of psychic damage, and you see he immediately turns and runs, the heavy metal feet of this kind of clanking on the ground. This time the damage being done not to the armor, but to the person himself on the inside. So that dwarf took 9 points of psychic damage, as those hit points are separate. Anything else on your turn?
Yes, I will move towards the people. I'm assuming that they're nearby, close enough to where I
can step over. You can be next to them. It would be an action to like try and start untying them, but you can step over next to them.
Okay, so I'll move towards them. Yes.
Okay. In that case, that's going to bring us around to the other dwarven turns. That one dwarven woman who was running after you, Elaria, continues to dash along the rigging here towards you at full speed, getting up to you, but that's their whole turn. Two others, which just kind of arrived. One of them is going to... you're actually the one that you are currently fighting, Star in the Morning, is going to make an attack with a war pick against you. Ooh. It only does the first... Oh, no. It only does the first damage. Does 13 hit?
Nope.
Okay, it misses. That was a close one. I was thinking for a second. I forgot that you were a high AC character for a second. And another one runs up, as there are 4 up here on the girders. The other one runs up and is also going to make an attack against you with a war pick. That's a 14, which also misses, I believe.
Yeah.
Just barely. You got out very close on that one. You see So there's the one that's right up next to you, also wielding a war pick, Elaria. Another one runs up and stops after just kind of moving their normal distance, and hurls a javelin towards you, Elaria, as they're going to make a javelin attack at you, and that's going to be at disadvantage. So it's an 18 and a 17. What, a 17 hit?
Will hit.
For 4 piercing damages, they are not enlarged. So, and the javelin flies through the air. It strikes you. 4 points of piercing damage, and you see them kind of take a moment to celebrate a little bit as they land the hit, and it definitely invigorates some of the other sky dwarves around here. As that's all for their turn, which brings us around to the top of the turn, which is the Hammerer. The Hammerer, having just run away, realizes that they were just running away, turns back around, and is going to make an attack against you, Wilhelm.
Wait, hold on. Wait. Yes, I think.
Yep. And they are going to bring that hammer down on you. That's a 10.
Oh, 10 doesn't hit.
And then the other hand of the machine whirs, and you can see like a deadly-looking claw clacks a couple of times, and then they're going to rake at you with that. 14.
Ooh, 14 barely hits, yeah. I take
4 points of bludgeoning damage as the claw just closes and then batters you. A punch. Another word for that would be it punches you. And that is all for foe turn. As we go back around to, I believe it is Star. What would you like to do, Star?
So how many are there in front of me? 2?
There's 2 around you.
Alright, well, I'm gonna hit the same one I hit last time.
Go ahead and make me an attack roll.
Yes. And then she puts the quarterstaff two-handed now.
A 11, unfortunately, is going to miss.
Darn it.
But unarmed strike.
Oh, I can still do that?
Yeah, even if
Yep.
you miss, you can still unarmed strike. 17 will hit. For 5 points of bludgeoning damage, and combined with the damage from you'd already landed on it, they block the quarterstaff strike, but then a quick punch, and they fall over staggering, and probably die as they tumble from a pretty high height down off the girders that you're on. Anything else on your turn?
Not really.
All right, that is going to bring us next initiative to Elaria. There's one right up in your grill. There's another one a little bit further away that tossed a javelin at you.
I suppose this won't be particularly useful right now, and I will put away the crossbow, pull out a mace, and just take a big swing at this one right in front of me.
Smack him.
Nope,
Oh.
that doesn't do much.
Oh, I thought you were saying that you had... the way you said nope, it sounded like you had something. All right, you bring the mace down, and it just clatters into the girder below you as they dodge out of the way. You feel the reverberations move up your arm. Anything else on your turn?
No, that will be all.
All right, that's going to bring us to Mugg. What would you like to do, Mugg?
Leave the kobolds alone, as I will shoot at mech.
Go ahead and make an attack roll. Unfortunately, an 8 does not connect. It glances off of the armor, the strike not being as direct as your last one was. Anything else on your turn?
Nope, that'll do it.
All right, Mugg. Oh, I'm sorry, that was just Mugg. Wilhelm, my apologies.
Mm-hmm.
What would you like to do?
Okay. I will then say, go prick thy face over, and red in thy fear. Thou lily liver. As I again cast another spell.
What spell are you casting this time?
Other dissonant whisper.
Oh, man. You burning him. This Sky Dwarf, I don't think lives even if he succeeds, unless the damage is its absolute minimum. Go ahead and roll damage on that.
13.
And the damage was not its minimum. So, this dwarf inside of the mech suit, you watch as he goes, I don't even know what that... And then you just watch as his eyes kind of go bloodshot, and blood just starts to like come out of his nose, and he just falls over the mech with him. Anything else on your turn?
Yes, I will use my item interaction as I am already nearest to them, because I can move closer to the people that are captives, and I will cut them free with a wipe of my blade.
Cutting them free would still be an action, unfortunately. But if you have a bonus action or something like that, you could still take that.
I could take out my item, though. Oh, wait!
You could take out the blade, yeah.
Yeah, I could take out the blade, and then I could also give bardic inspiration to someone, hopefully?
Yeah, you could certainly do that.
Who would be closest
I
to
think
me?
actually the way that you've moved forward, them moving above and you below, you could hit any of your allies right now.
How about the dude with the bow? That sounds...
Absolutely. Mugg, you have a point of bardic inspiration. As we move next in initiative 2, it would be... it would be the foe turn. So Sky Dwarves, there's two still one bearing down on you now with a pick, and they're going to go after you, Star. That's a 15. I assume that strikes. Star? You with me?
I apologize. Yes.
You take 7 points of piercing damage as the pick connects and kind of digs down into you. The dwarf kind of gleefully smiles as he strikes. The other two that are still up on this higher ledge, that same one's going to throw another disadvantaged javelin. Oh my god. These rolls. You still up after that one?
No.
Elaria falls, and seeing you go down, the other one turns around and begins moving in the direction of you, Star, but it is a full round in order to get into that point. And they're kind of, the way they're aligned on the girder, they're behind the other one, so they're in kind of an awkward position because these are kind of narrow paths that you guys are running on that crisscross here. So they're in a little bit of an awkward move to get to you next round. And that is all for faux turn. That's going to bring us to you, Star. You have 2 bearing down on you once more. What would you like to do?
Well, our healer's down.
It's never a great situation.
Yeah, especially considering I'm at 2 health. I mean, go out in a blaze of glory, I guess. I mean, like, there's nothing else to do.
Swing away.
Yeah, I'll approach him and swing at him. Do I still have that Bardic Inspiration die?
You do. They'll have that, yep.
Just in case it misses. No,
20's gonna hit. Go ahead and roll damage. 8 points of damage, a firm connection as the quarterstaff swings and strikes the face of one of the dwarfs before you. Arm strike.
Yeah.
And roll damage on that as well. 2 strikes in quick succession sends the dwarf bearing down, most presently on you, reeling over the side. Another one downed. Anything else on your turn? Only 2 remain.
There's nothing else I can do, exactly.
Very well, Mugg. I'm sorry, Elaria, I need you to make a death saving throw. You have 1 failure. Mugg.
We have to save Star, but also, Wilhelm, you handle the engineers. I'll save Star. And I will run over underneath and pew up at the sky dwarf nearest to Star.
Okay. Go ahead and make an attack roll. You have Bardic Inspiration.
I do.
Bardic...
Is it a D6?
It is a D6.
Big money. 13?
13 will get you there. Go ahead and roll damage.
Heck yeah.
7 points of piercing damage. This is the one... Or, I'm sorry, you're going at the one that's right next to Star, or the one that's back a little bit with the javelins?
The one that's nearest Star.
Okay. The arrow strikes true, sinking a major blow, and they look kind of down at you and spit towards the ground, as they're definitely angry, but they're still hanging on. Anything else on your turn, Mugg?
Mugg will use his bonus action to be happy that somehow his pack tactics actually worked for once.
And that's going to be... Oh, yeah, you have... Wait, you would have...
advantage on that as well.
Yeah.
I'm not an actual kobold.
Oh! I forgot.
That's the joke.
I
Wait, you're not?
You got me.
No.
You got me, Lance. That's gonna bring us next to Wilhelm. What would you like to do?
I am going to cut the people free.
Yes.
Yes.
I'll say with your action, you can free all of them.
Okay, I will do that.
Okay. You free all of the engineers, quickly cutting through their binds. There's 3 of them there, and they're looking around. Thank you. And they look up towards the fire, which is continuing to spread along the outside of it. And you can see them running along. Like, one of them grabs a hose that seems to be set up for, emergency situations like this. And one of them begins, like, a water pump, just manually, like, pumping water into it. And they go about doing the work to set off the fire, douse the fire on the inside of this thing. A lot of, as it continues to spread, we're in a very slow, because it's combat right now, so things are moving slowly, but the fire is decidedly spreading. And you can also start to feel that, like, the smooth flight that you've experienced over the lands of DnDTime up until now is becoming more and more kind of rickety by the moment. And that is going to bring us next in initiative to the top. which is going to be faux turn, and there's 2 of them still bearing down on you, Star. One of them is going to throw a disadvantaged javelin, which critically fails, and the other one is going to swing their warpeck in, and that is an 18, unfortunately.
And I'm down.
3 points of damage is enough.
Yep, I am at -1 or 0 or however it works here.
It's a glancing blow, but yeah, so you are effectively at 0. It's a glancing blow, but it brings you crumpling down to the ground as the dwarf kind of again grins and turns their attention down towards you on the ground, Mugg. As we move next to Star, I need you to make me a death saving throw.
What does that entail?
I need you to roll a d20. And if you roll a 10 or above, you have a success. If you roll below a 10, it is a failure. A natural 20 means that you automatically get up at 1 hit points, and a 1 means you have 2 failures. 15, so you have 1 success. If you get to 3 successes, you stabilize. Elaria, I need you to make me 1 as well. 18, you have 1 and 1. Mugg.
I will shoot the one that just hit Star.
Okay, go ahead and make... that's the one that hasn't taken a hit yet, just so you know.
Wait, was that not the one that I hit last round?
No, the one that you hit was the one that was right next to Star, and the one that just... Oh, wait, no, you're right. The one that just hit Star was the one that was in melee. My apologies. You're right. So go ahead and make your attack roll. 22 is absolutely going to connect. And I believe you're going to say your minimum damage does it on this one. They tumble to the ground, and only 1 remains.
I will send the ladder to get to Star to hopefully stabilize them sooner than...
Elaria is closer to you and also closer to death, if you would prefer that.
Then I will head to Elaria first.
Okay. And that is going to bring us to... that is going to bring us to...
Mine, I think?
Yep, it's your turn. What would you like to do, Wilhelm?
Okay, so how far is the one who's been shooting, the one with the stuff, or her?
50. They're 50 feet up.
Okay. All right. That means I only have one option because the hand crossbow only has a range of 30. Wait, is it 30 to 120 that I don't have disadvantage, or is it anything past 30 that's disadvantage?
Anything past 30 is a disadvantage.
Okay, so then I can't do that. But I can do... Seeing where they are, I will say, you are pigeon-livered and lack...
Are you going to, I suspected that you might be mocking them. Alright, they're gonna make a wisdom saving throw, which they fail. They take 3 points of psychic damage, and they look down, no,
and they have disadvantage on their next attack roll.
Very good. And their turn is now. And their next attack roll, they begin running in the direction of Elaria towards you, Mugg, and they are going to toss another disadvantaged javelin. That's kind of their name of their game here. They're running out of javelins. They only got 1 more. A 7, I assume, does not hit you, Mugg. And that's all for their turn. They run closer. Top of the initiative, I need Star and Elaria to make me death saving throws again.
Oh no.
Oh god. Star, a natural 1, you have 2 failed death saving throws and 1 success. If you get 3 failures, you die. Elaria, you also have 2 failed death saving throws and 1 success. And Mugg, the turn is yours. It's a tough situation. What would you like to do?
I will kiss Elaria's forehead and pull out a big band-aid that has, like, comic-esque, cartoony dragons on it to put on their wound as I try to stabilize them.
You do. They are for a second I thought that was a natural 20. With it, you absolutely have stabilized them. Elaria, you are no longer dying, but not up at the moment. Anything else on your turn, Mugg?
So does stabilizing like get rid of failures or something? What does that do?
Stabilizing resets you, and you're no longer dying and have to make death saving throws. You're just unconscious at that point.
Oh.
So you're basically, it's the equivalent of being asleep. Is that all for your turn, Mugg?
I run over as close as I can get to Star.
You would have to run through the enemy to do so. Actually, no, you can go around, because the girder's cross-section, so you could, find a path. Yeah, so you begin heading in the direction of Star. You'll be able to get there on your next turn. That's going to bring us to Wilhelm. What would you like to do, Wilhelm?
How far is the enemy from me, and how far is...
Their positions haven't changed relative to you, because you just vicious mockery last turn. So.
Okay. I thought that you said the enemy moved...
They're all 50 feet above you, but...
Oh, they're all above me. Okay, that's the problem.
Everyone's above you right now.
All right, so I can then say, and they're still 50 feet above. Okay. I must tell you friendly in your ear. Sell when you can. You are not for all markets. With another vicious mockery.
Another vicious mockery. They're going to make a wisdom saving throw. Which they succeed, unfortunately, at a 16. That was
it's sad.
I believe that is all for your turn.
I will try to move a little bit closer, but I am not going to go up at this.
Okay. They are going to run over to you, and with their last javelin, they're actually pretty close to you right now, Mugg, so this is their first non-disadvantaged javelin, as they're going to toss their last one at you. That's an 18 to hit, Mugg.
Oh yeah, that hits.
You take 5 points of piercing damage, and that is all for their turn. They continue to approach, and they are right up. They're right up near you. As we move to the top of the initiative, the turn passes to you, Star. You have to roll a d20. If you roll a 9 or below, you die. If you roll above that, you're still okay, but not completely out of the woods. Please roll me a death saving throw, Star. It happens. Star, the life fades. As you're kind of breathing your last breath, do you have anything that you would like to say, Star?
I'm unconscious. What am I supposed to say? I'm unconscious.
I'm saying you breathe your last... Do you want to have a final word? I'm saying you can have a final words if you would like in this moment. Fair enough.
She's too chill for that.
Star, you fade into dreams. And Mugg, as you're kind of standing over Star, you watch as the life goes out and their breathing stops. That's going to bring us next to Elaria. Roll me a d20 for luck. No luck. Mugg, what would you like to do?
How close am I to the final blast?
You are right next to them, actually. They are right up. They were right up upon you.
Seeing Star pass, Mugg will kind of just, tears in his eyes, just throws his bow at them as he will draw out his little small sword and will just charge them and try to stick them.
Go ahead and make me an attack roll. 12 is unfortunately going to just barely miss. Is there anything else on your turn?
That's all I got.
Wilhelm, what would you like to do?
I'm going to first I'm going to vicious mockery, then try to move a little bit away from them.
Okay. Go ahead and or they're gonna make a wisdom saving throw.
Yes, and I say I would beat thee, but I would infect my.
very good, very good quotes all around. And they're going to take 2 more points of psychic damage, as they've now taken 2 of these vicious mockeries, and they are wild-eyed in front of you, Mugg. They are obviously scared as they lash out. This one, finally, in melee, will take out their war pick and strike. They critically fail. They go to bring the war pick down. Upon you, Mugg, and it grates and strikes into the metal girder and completely whiffs. Elaria, D20 for luck, and Mugg, what would you like to do?
I stick him.
Swing away. 20, roll damage. Would you care to describe the killing blow on this sky dwarf before you?
Standing above the fallen star, tears and a bit of snot coming down his face. The war pick comes right at him, missing, hitting the girl, and Mugg just swinging wildly with his little prick of the rape, just gets one lucky blow, and that goes right through the gut of this dwarf.
And as they're kind of bringing the war pick down, they feel it stick in, and you're still out of the sky. And they tumble down, falling below, dying alongside of the rest of their sky dwarven brethren. And with that, initiative here is going to come to a close, and you can see that those engineers are in the process now. The fire is continuing to spread around the space, but the engineers are in the process of, with that hose, like putting out the larger one, while the smaller one continues to spread a little bit, the one that was more recently lit. In this moment, Mugg and Wilhelm, the 2 of you, is there anything you would like to do to aid in the putting out of these fires, or just what do you do? I guess is a better question.
I guess whatever I could do to aid with putting out the fires, running water, trying to fix the hole. I'm not sure exactly what we.
I have a few water skins and an old pair of clothes to try to smother the flame.
Sounds good. Let's do that.
All right, you guys get over to the other side and kind of handle the smaller flame. It takes you a couple of moments. Go ahead and both of you just make me a survival check to see how well you're able to do this.
All right, Captain. We're survival. 16.
16, and what about you, Mugg? Oh, Mugg already rolled a 5. Between the 2 of you, you get it out. It's not brutally efficient, and a little bit more of the canvas goes. And you can see the ship starting to get pretty rattly as it's flying. But you can also start to tell, you feel a little bit of a lurch in your stomach, as you can tell that the ship is now losing altitude. You continue to put out the fire, but some time passes. As this is happening, Elaria, you awaken. You have 1 hit point.
That hurts a little. And
the 3 engineers kind of run over to you as they kind of finish up, and they look to you. They look to you first, Wilhelm. Thank you for helping us. Those sky dwarves, they hate anything else flying within their domain, and they wanted to bring the ship down, and it looks like they might have succeeded. Everyone should get to the captain's bay. And they kind of gesture. I don't know what we have for emergency escape plans, but they begin kind of hurrying off in that direction.
We need to get to the cargo bay. Use that trolley, get all the luggage to the captain's quarter.
The luggage can be replaced, the people cannot.
I will say
we won't get paid if we don't get the luggage there.
There it is. I was gonna say that.
All right, so let's go. Let's get the luggage and let's go.
All right. So you all begin setting off. You rush. Mugg, you're running along as fast as you can, getting to the cargo hold where all the luggage is, and you have a huge cart that's like overflowing with it. As you kind of run down the hallways to the luggage thing, you begin to hear the further you can now see outside. You are making a pretty rapid descent towards the ground, a lot steeper than your angle was before. You can see Central City looming in the distance, and the Windenburg seems to be heading straight down towards it at the moment, and not towards the very large. You can see there's like tents on the ground and stuff behind Central City, where it looks like there was going to be a big party when it landed, but right now you're on a collision course with the city itself. You run down the hallway, luggage is like falling off the top of the tray, and you guys are putting it back on, and eventually you get to the captain's quarters, where there's all of the passengers are kind of like huddled around, like panicked whispers to each other. You can see there's a couple of those sky dwarves that are slain on the ground, a couple of the crew members here that have also looks like fell to the sky dwarves, one that looks like he might have been like a sky dwarven captain or whatever. The captain kind of looks back at you, the captain of the Windenburg. You're all Bartholomew's adventurers, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's right. We've
All right.
protected the luggage.
That... We'll call it even on the luggage, but help us maybe save all these people instead, huh?
I told you.
You see a couple of, like, the nobles just begin, like, rifling through and grabbing their luggage and, like, holding it close to themselves, as the Windenburg continues to fall. They took out the steering wheel. So, we need to get over to the rudder. And the rudder is on the back, on the outside of the Windenburg.
Mm.
Now,
I suppose my claws could be useful.
He points down towards, the central city. We're on a crash course for there. We need to alter to the right. And he kind of points out, not far outside of Central City, a little bit from where your viewpoint, you can see north, south, east, and west town. And he points a little bit to the right of East Town, where there's a huge, where there's a huge kind of a lake. And he goes, "That's our destination. The flames are out, but we're not going to have an easy landing. But if you can push the rudder and get us over there, I might be able to handle the altitude, and, well, the flames from the top that are going to come will be it'll be better." He looks over at you. Do you think you can handle it?
Less bad is more good.
Okay. So, as we approach the Windenburg's end, as the ship begins to kind of just lilt and move forward on this collision course with Central City, you find yourselves in a skill challenge. How do each of you, what action do each of you take in order to... My question is, how do you accomplish this? How do you get the rudder to change direction and to move away from the city? Feel free to ask me questions about the environment and the inside of the ship.
Want to make sure. Just want to clarify: there's no part of the rudder, or nothing that looks like it would control the rudder inside.
There was like a great big wheel, and it's been completely broken off. You can see the fragments of it remain on the ground. It's all in splinters.
Does it look like we can open up where the wheel was to get access to the components that the wheel controls?
The wheel moved. It was more than it was a wheel. It was just kind of a lever that kind of went back and forth, a huge one in the center of this chamber. And it looks like it kind of dug into the ground. So if you ripped apart the ground, you might be able to get into the innards of this thing. The floor of the interior here.
We should have some people go to the outside in case this doesn't work. If we can get underneath the broken wheel.
I suppose I can try to climb on the outside if it comes to that, but maybe we should try this first.
I mean, I could climb around the outside of the thing, but let's see if maybe there's another way. I like it. How do you guys do that? Like I said, it's just the ground on the inside of this. It's made of like a very finely polished wood. How do you get down into the mechanism?
Well,
Does there seem to be an access hatch?
The interior workings of this do not seem to have like an access hatch. There's an access hatch into the more kind of complicated and maybe more finicky Zeppelin, but this is just like, you know, this would be car hood, and the car hood is not usually inside the car, you know?
But is there a way to pop the hood?
Do we break it?
I have a grappling hook and a 10-foot pole.
He looks
Maybe
over
that.
at you. Yeah, I mean, if you think that's the right way to go, there's an access panel on the front, on the bottom side, and he kind of points. Basically, you are in the front of the kind of central part of the Zeppelin here, and you can see there's kind of a at the front here there's a open window, and he kind of points down, and you can see where there's just a big like panel on the front of this thing that you'd have to like drop down and then like slide into.
That seems perhaps slightly less bad.
I have a grappling.
I mean, I can climb decently well.
We can put a rope around you to make sure that you'll be okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess I can try down underneath, and maybe you try to get at it from the top too.
And then I have a 10-foot pole that can help you. I don't know how. Perhaps.
All right. So.
Okay. I'll try from the top then.
Rope. Yeah, rope. Just as an extra safety thing. My claw should be enough, but it's always better.
I will pull out some rope and tie it around their left ankle.
All right. So you're gonna make
the waist would be a little bit better, just so that my claws are a little freer.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
You guys are
climbing
getting
speed.
steadily closer. So Elaria, you're kind of at a point of now or never. Go ahead and make me either acrobatics or athletics. I will let you pick to go ahead and slide out and try and get to this point.
I also just have a climbing speed.
Climbing affects the speed at which you are able to climb, but it doesn't. If it's something that's difficult, like the outside of just solid wood, like this isn't rough bark, this is polished wood, so this is just a difficult climbing surface.
Okay.
12 is the absolute bare minimum you need for success in the skill challenge. And you climb down around the outside. There's a point where you feel your claws begin to scrape along the wood, and you like skid downwards to the point, and then they catch into the top of the access hatch. It flings downwards, and you're kind of hanging for a moment as you clamber up onto it and into the interior workings of this thing. So you are down in there. What do you guys do now?
I have no idea. I don't know what.
Wilhelm, you're just kind of looking on, kind of a little bit thrown off, a little bit thrown for a loop at the moment. Elaria, one thing that you see as you look down into the interior of this space, you can see there are the main kind of section where that lever was meant to turn to the left and right, and it directs another very long kind of like a long kind of like metal shaft that you can see that moves to the left and right with it on that kind of swivel. And currently, I mean, it's a little bit tough to pull is your first issue. You can see that there's like shrapnel and wood and just like damage from where it was ripped off and put away that's kind of stuck in, that's like jamming it in place at the moment. It's kind of close to close to where the lever meets the floor. So with your direction, they could probably see it up top as well.
Yeah, so I'm going to point out, and I'd like to try to clear out as much of the debris from around the pivot point as possible.
Yeah. How do you do so? What ability are you going to use, or what like? Are you just trying to like wrench it free? It's kind of jammed in there, or do you have some kind of spell or something that would help you, or?
I don't really have a spell to directly help. No.
So it'd just be raw strength.
Yeah, I will, however, guidance myself as part of it.
Certainly. Go ahead and make me just a strength check as you get down there.
21.
With the 20, you had it anyway. You watch as from underneath, Elaria, you just kind of drag and pull this thing over in the kind of the right direction. And far behind, you can kind of hear like a groaning underneath your feet. Wilhelm and Mugg, and you see the entire zeppelin begin to like turn and curve over towards the lake, and begin moving in the direction of like a safer landing. And at this point, the captain looks over to you. All right, all that's left at this point is for that. And honestly, if we're gonna be ambitious, he kind of points first at like the big huddled group of passengers, and then he points at the big pile of luggage. Those two things gotta get there safely. Stabilize them, do anything you can to hold everyone down, and then just hold on tight. Do you guys have any way to like stabilize or just leave the luggage to the passengers here?
I absolutely do. I have a climber.
Oh, how do you use your climber's kit in order to help people?
Well, the climber's kit includes special pittons, boot tips, gloves, and a harness, and you can use the climber's kit as an action to anchor yourself. When you do, you can't fall more than 25 feet from the point where you anchored yourself.
Interesting. I want you to go ahead and make me a climber's kit check with advantage to get, because you're doing it for yourself, but you're also, I assume you're doing it to other people.
Yes, I am. I'm doing it.
So it's a lot of people. Go ahead and make me a climber's kit or survival check with advantage.
I would assume this would be a survival. I don't know. The climber's kit, I don't know how that exactly works. You just have proficiency in it?
Which...
if you have proficiency in it, then you would have... I don't know if that's like a kit, like other things. Go ahead and make me a survival check with advantage. Is what we're going to get down to, I think. 12 is the minimum that you needed. You lash everyone against the wall, digging pitons into the wall and sticking them in at various points. And eventually you just have everyone wrangled against the wall with rope and just tied down. And some of the nobility there are just kind of like grumbling to themselves, but they're also very scared. Anything else on your turn?
That's
it. That's your skill challenge. You have one more success. You've succeeded on all counts. All that's left is Mugg for the achievement point. Do you want to try and save the luggage?
You know it.
What do you do?
Let's see. How many obstructions within the area are there? Like things to fasten things.
There is there's a large wall space, but that's largely been taken up by all the people that you've been watching Wilhelm just basically tape to the wall with rope. So in terms of points to fasten to, there's various levers and stuff on the controls at the front of this here. There's also just like rooms and doors further in. It's all going to kind of scramble around when it hits, but at least it won't be out in the open is another option. But that's kind of what you see. There's a couple of like bars, overhead hanging bars to like hold on to keep people stable up above.
Excellent. Mugg is just gonna start pulling out lengths of rope and running around, further lashing all of the luggage to the luggage within the luggage, and then every now and again having a point of that come out and tie off to the holding bar. until he eventually, his idea is to have it suspended, well, not suspended, but you know, like a cocoon in a spider's web that's just a mass of web with cables connecting back to the web. That's basically what he's going to try to do with just a bunch of rope.
What check would you say this is?
Survival?
Maybe. Yeah, sure. I'll say it's survival. We'll let you make a survival check on this one. Go ahead and make me a survival check. Yeah, just go ahead and make me a survival check.
11.
You are nearly in the process of saving the luggage, which you already told you didn't have to do, on top of everything else, and you have it pretty well put together in this huge bundle within the carriage, but just at the last moment, as you're about to like tie the final knot, it slips a little bit, and the Windenburg makes impact with the lake. You hear right before this happens, the captain kind of calls out, "Brace yourselves!" And then there's just an overwhelming roar of noise, a rush of water, spurts of flames from the top as various components in the Windenburg break on this very violent impact. Shrieks and just kind of shouts from the passengers as you hit, and then after some time, there is a moment of calm as everyone kind of catches themselves. The luggage, unfortunately, as you kind of come to from the impact and right yourself, is akimbo. It's all over the place. There's a couple of bags that got a little bit destroyed. You can see that the passengers on the side are all just bundled up in a big pile. Some of them have bruises. There's a few bloody noses and cuts where heads bang together, but they are safe along the wall. And all of you have just come to a rest in the wreckage of the Windenburg here on the lake. The captain kind of looks over at you after stabilizing himself. He kind of had braced himself and has now gotten back up after definitely getting falling down and getting knocked around a bit. He looks over at you. All right. Well, this was my life's work, but I am alive still, so I'll make another one, maybe.
Perhaps some defenses are in order.
I guess.
Just to be on the safe side.
They showed up in a sky ship. He kind of points back, and you can see that there's just like a sky ship that's just parked doing nothing as all the dwarves have been dealt with. Like way back in the distance, a distant point in the sky. I didn't think that... Usually there's not Skype. I owe each of you some money.
You know, I believe time you build one.
I believe I told you that the people were more important than the luggage, and I think that they'll be fine without it. And he looks over towards you, and he produces for each of you 100 Bartholomew bucks. Wasn't there a fourth one? Oh, I'm sorry.
Operational word there was.
I'm sorry. Well, you're all Bartholomew's adventurers, so give him this for me when he wakes up. And he hands you an extra 100 for Star in the Morning. And with that, as the people kind of gratefully thank you, the humble baggage claim attendants that have saved their lives, our adventure comes to a close. And with that, I saw in chat that you were a little bit unclear on this one, Star. You, back at Bartholomew's shop, you remember that dwarf kind of bearing down on you. You felt impact, and then your eyes closed. And then not long after, they open. And you find yourself in a room. There are 4 beds in the room. You were wakened in like the second one from left to right. And you kind of stand up and look around, eyes adjusting to the light. And after walking through a simple wooden door, you find yourself back in Bartholomew's shop. Bartholomew kind of looks over at you. Oh no. Usually if someone walks through that door, it means they went down. I'm sorry to hear that.
It's fine. I honestly didn't expect to be back alive.
No, did you not read the fine print? And Bartholomew holds up the very, very long and elaborate contract that you had to sign, which it seems that while adventuring, one of the perks of being a member of Bartholomew's adventuring troupe is this particular wording of it was while adventuring, apparently you have immunity to death.
Aha.
So you are fine, and actually, I think they should be. And everyone walks back into the shop in this moment. As you all reconvene, I imagine you guys regale Star of the adventure, and Star, you gain your 100 Bartholomew bucks as well, and each of you gains a point of experience as our adventure does here come to a close. And which means all of you are level 2, and I would like to ask, would any of you like to shop?
Again, I think it's 100.
How much? What was the question? How much for what?
How much for upgrading an armor?
100. Yep.
Okay, that's
See,
what I
I
want.
also want to do that, but Star gestures to her monk robes. I don't exactly wear armor.
I
You could get really fancy room.
They can make them magical, make them look really cool. That's just a style thing. Shop. Oh, so you're gonna upgrade armor. Bartholomew snaps his fingers, and I assume your leather goes to studded leather?
Yeah.
Yep. And you gain studded leather armor. Anyone else have anything they would like to purchase?
I'll go with the bag.
Ah, yes. This can be done. And give me just a second to get the bag open. And go ahead and roll me a D1000.
751.
Not a bad roll. Not a bad roll at all. You reach into the bag, and your hand passes over first. It appears to be a potion of some kind, which you're not interested in. You can feel the liquidy vial. An amulet also falls from your grasp, and what you end up grabbing is pretty heavy. And as you pull it out, it appears to be a great sword. It's silvered. It has obvious signs of damage on it from what looks like battle. The guard and part of the blade are kind of blackened, and there's writing on it in Celestial. And Bartholomew speaks up to you. This is Merikel's blade. It is a powerful weapon, once wielded by a Celestial known as, I believe, Merikel is where it gained its name. While wielding it, you have a +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls. Additionally, it has 3 charges. While holding it, you can use an action to touch a creature with the blade and expend one of its charges to cast the Cure Wound spell with it. Using your wisdom as the spell casting ability modifier. Is what it says in the text. There's a lot of gibberish there. And that was an item created by Mr. Plunderloots. Thank you very much, and enjoy Merikel's blade.
Oh boy.
And anyone else? Going once?
Well, I can't upgrade my armor, so I guess not.
Going twice? And we'll be right back with our second adventure of the evening. See you all very soon.